So you know what happened? You're only allowed to say the world is ending. You're not allowed to say, hey, maybe this is overblown. Because if you do, you run the risk of getting banned. There have been a ton of YouTubers that have been instantly banned. No strikes, no warning, just gone. Because they'll put out a video questioning masks or something.
Yeah.
So if you're not allowed to have any conversation at all about maybe we went too far, then the only thing anyone ever sees is the end is nigh, it's getting worse, it's getting worse. When if you actually look at the data, you're like, oh man, we flattened the curve a long time ago. So we saw Rick DeSantis in Florida. He was like, COVID lockdown, done, gone, in every capacity, over. We just had in Michigan, the Supreme Court of Michigan ruled all of the lockdown stuff unconstitutional. And then, so what did the governor say? Don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go forward anyway because we have 21 days before this goes into effect. And apparently that's actually part of the governor has 21 days to appeal essentially or call for a hearing to challenge the Supreme Court's ruling. If she's straight up saying, well, then technically I can just keep doing whatever I want for 21 days. She's clearly just defying the law. And that's crazy. A governor basically going rogue. But so the attorney general said, nah, we're not enforcing any of this anymore. So it's all breaking apart now. Cuomo, though, in New York is going to be re-upping all this stuff. And I think 12,000 bars are expected to be completely destroyed.
Right.
And restaurants. The economy in New York is just destroying it as to the best of their abilities. And it's Cuomo's fault. You know, a good portion of the deaths were nursing home deaths, and Cuomo was putting sick people in nursing homes. Did you see he tried denying it?
Yeah.
He was like, that never happened. And then a bunch of journalists were like,
like this was really recently. We're able to. Yeah.
That's what frustrates me about. There are these like blue Twitter quote journalist check marks who love to blame as like 200,000 coronavirus deaths on Trump, as if somehow Trump, if he were more competent, would be able to be the only country pretty much with zero coronavirus deaths. And they also don't talk about where all these deaths are coming from. Places like New York, right? I mean, no one forced Cuomo to do that.
No, that was like Cuomo with Joker makeup on being like, if I put sick COVID people into nursing homes, come on, man. I don't think anyone in their right mind could assume that was innocent.
Yeah.
It was just an honest mistake. I mean, it's the most vulnerable population when it comes to COVID. Why wouldn't I put a person who's got COVID into the nursing home?
Why did he do it?
I don't know. I don't think he has a real reason.
Maybe trying to rescue like their state entitlement program or something. I don't know.
No, he's saying it never happened. That's the crazy thing. Now like he did an interview and he's like, that never happened. And they're like, oh, actually, nope, never happened. You're wrong. And they're like, actually, nope, wrong.
Insane.
Wrong.
Hey, but on the upside, the curve is flattened according to the data
from months ago. Yeah, it's been flat for a long time.
So we're suffering economic now, but people actually are not suffering nearly what they were.
Yeah, like so COVID was. So the issue is, I think we've got really short memories in this year, I guess.
Yeah.
Before this all kicked off, it was conservatives that were actually the most concerned at first. And I made several videos. I made a couple videos in January that were like approved, and I was like, whoa, something crazy is happening in Wuhan. And then after COVID got crazy, they actually demonetized it after the fact because it's like all of a sudden now you can't talk about COVID.
Yeah.
It was really weird because it was before it made its way here, but it was a global pandemic, so it was a mass casualty incident. And then once it became really obvious it was affecting everybody, they're like, okay, fine, we're going to monetize this content again. But so early on, conservatives were very concerned. Tucker Carlson flew to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Trump and was like, yo, this is serious. So Trump did all these things, started the task force, banned travel to China for the most part. I love how they say, no, he didn't because this, that, and this. Okay, dude, he banned travel except for people who are returning back and for, I think, like official business. And then he put heavy restrictions on European travel. Fauci in March said, what the administration is doing is wonderful and I don't think anyone could do better. And the New York Times had this slider bar where you could be like, if the mortality rate is 3%, here's how many dead. And it's like 6 million. How many people are dead now? 200,000. So here's what ends up happening. You go to these conservatives who read that news and saw what Trump was saying. And then they look at the media, like the New York Times saying potential is 2 million deaths. Trump says we're at 200,000. It's horrible, but it's way better than 2 million. The pollsters then ask the conservative, do you think 200,000 dead is
acceptable? Yeah.
And they say, yes, it is. And then the Democrats go,
Yeah.
Oh, no. Isn't it true that 94% of those 200,000 had
Comorbidities.
on average of 2 to 3 more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting about the comorbidities thing is that COVID killed them, but many of these people, with all due respect, were not long for this world.
Or COVID was in their system when something killed them.
No, COVID did kill them. So the comorbidities means COVID is the factor.
But if it was like they had like terminal heart disease and then they got COVID.
Some people had advanced renal failure.
It accelerates
So-
it.
Right, yeah.
Like, dude. So for sure. And there were some instances, I think it was in Florida, where like a guy got in a motorcycle accident and they were like,
Oh,
COVID
come
death.
on.
No joke.
Yeah.
No joke. Yeah. In Illinois, there's a video on this. Adam was going nuts on this one, like showing the video, being like, look at what she's saying. It was a press conference where like the one of the top medical people in the Illinois government was saying, if someone dies and then we discover they had COVID in the system, it's a COVID death. And she goes, for instance, if a car accident, there's like literally a press conference where she says this.
Yeah.
So, however, I think you've got there's no conspiracy. It's just people are kind of dumb. You know what the crazy thing to me about all of this stuff, especially with the conspiracy theories, is this idea that there's always someone who's super powerful. It's like haven't these people realized yet that you're an adult and everyone around you is just like equally dumb?
Clueless,
You know what I
yes.
mean? It's like at a certain point, I remember when I was growing up, I always have questions. I'd be like, how does this work? How does that work? And then, my dad always had answers for me when I was like a teenager, like, how does this? He's like, oh, well. And then it got to a point where I was like in my 20s and I'm like, how does this work? And I'd ask some like advanced government question. I have no idea. And I'd be like, oh, I guess I'm an adult now. I got to figure things out for myself. But that's when I kind of realized like the level of my understanding and everyone else, it's like fairly equal now. In various respects, like I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor. Doctors know more than I do. And I think a lot of people aren't journalists and kind of think they know everything, but there's a lot of people who think they know everything. But we're getting to this point now where it's like, dude, if you can't pull off a grand conspiracy to like flub all these numbers nationwide, I don't think they can either. They could be like wealthy and evil and have a lot of friends, and they're still not going to pull off any kind of grand conspiracy. What I think really happens is that these people are panicky, lazy, and dumb. I mean, here's the simple solution to all of this. People in government are ineffective. It's that's the way it
Amen.
is.
Yeah.
If you've got a competition in a market, you might get talent. But for the most part, you got people who are like, yeah, somebody died. Oh, it says COVID on the chart. They put it in. And then later someone's like, hey, that guy died in a motorcycle accident. Oh, oops.
Happens all the time.
I think panicky is a great word.
Panicky.
Yeah, a lot of these people are panicking. Like, did you see the cops arresting the pregnant woman in Australia on the beach?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, I didn't see that. No, what happened?
Man, she just screamed she's pregnant, and her sister's like, she's pregnant.
Because she wasn't wearing a mask or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also been, I think a child at, it was some sort of sporting event. I think she was on the bleachers. She wasn't wearing the mask, and the security guard got like freaked out. It's like, okay, say that there is this huge risk of coronavirus contaminating you because she's not wearing a mask. Is what you want to do really get into like a physical confrontation
Yeah,
with them?
no.
Definitely
That's why I really love the old toilet paper videos. Remember that? Like earlier in the year when people were running full speed.
Yeah.
So it's like we have a pandemic coming, and it is a very serious illness, and then a video of like 100 people shoulder to shoulder
Brawling.
like brawling for toilet paper, and it's like,
What are you doing?
y'all are gonna get sick.
Yeah.
That
was a huge wake-up call for me, though, because I realized a lot of people are living toilet paper roll to toilet paper roll. I don't know. I stock up. Like, I have
prepared.
just a lot of it, and I'm like, what are you people
You
doing?
always use it.
Yeah.
when we drove out to do the Rogan show,
Yeah.
on the way back, we were in Arizona in some like little bumpkin town. We go to the gas station, nobody wearing masks. Everything was normal, and I was wearing a mask, and I was like, I walked up and I was like, nobody. I went to the lady, the clerk, and I was like, nobody's wearing masks, and she's like, we don't care. I was like, huh? And I was like, you're not concerned about what's going on? I mean, people are fighting over toilet paper. And she laughed. She's like, oh, honey, we're preppers.
Yeah.
And it was like a small town. And then she told me this funny story. She was like, I remember when we saw all these videos of people fighting over toilet paper. My husband looks at me and he goes, you think we got enough toilet paper? And she's like, are you kidding? We got 3 months. We're
Yeah.
preppers. And he went, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Liam, my fiance and producer, he kind of makes fun of me for being a prepper because I mean I'm not hardcore. I don't have a bunker. I would if I could,
Right.
But I don't right now. But it's like like my family, we have water, we have toilet paper, we have like medications, we have some emergency rations. I would love for more, but we are prepared a little bit, and I did feel this little sense of vindication, like, haha, who's crazy now?
Some good things to get are salt and honey.
Yeah.
They never
Oh,
go
yeah,
bad.
yeah. Honey for
Vinegar
sure.
too.
Yeah, and
So-
actually, some companies sell like seed collections, all things that you can grow like really easily.
You bought one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
went ham.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
you
we're
did.
waiting
Yeah.
for, you know, I don't think COVID is going to do anything. I don't think there's going to be any kind of massive unrest. I think people are going to will the asteroid into existence
Yes.
to finally come
A
and
solar flare, or I mean, there's so many
Anything.
things that could knock out the power grid for
Yeah.
like 6 weeks or 2
No,
weeks.
no. This is what people don't realize. This is why, like, okay, so look, I did a promo several times for food buckets, like the emergency food last 25 years or whatever. And people are like, ha ha ha. And I'm like, dude, sometimes it rains.
Yeah.
It's like you watch these videos and it's like a flood happened and people have been trapped in their homes for 2 weeks. And I'm like, I hope they have food.
Snap,
Were you
yeah.
guys aware, like the Midwest, how it got just massively flooded earlier in
yeah.
the year?
Like in
Yeah.
Iowa.
But
Yeah.
barely didn't get a lot of media attention
Because it's-
people were like
'cause-
in stunned silence.
But because sometimes it rains. So like even though when we have these disasters, it's not news to most of these outlets. They're like, I don't know, if we told people it was raining really bad and there was a flood, they'd be like, yeah, that happens all the time. It's like it doesn't affect me, it doesn't interest me. So you actually have a lot of people. This is what I never understood about this stuff is like, aren't you concerned that you might get stuck in a blizzard? Because like that happens all the time in the Midwest.
Right, and it happens all the time, like in Canada too, and where I live. I used to live like behind a farm and in front of a slightly bigger farm. We would lose power all the time, sometimes for days. You know, very common, have backup generators, food that's easy to prepare, and things like that. Because you never know. And I feel like, you know, hearing people in the city kind of try to tell people who actually have to deal with these situations, oh, you don't need that, you're being overly precautious, paranoid, whatever. It's like, you don't know. And I think some of them got a huge wake-up call when the whole COVID thing happened, because
Bought
I mean,
guns.
yeah,
Yes.
they bought guns and they bought toilet paper because they're in these little tiny apartments where you can't really store anything, right? You can't have food storage, you can't have a generator, you can't have guns because you're not allowed to, and like, yeah, they're vulnerable.
They're living on top of each other in concrete cubicles where everything smells like sour milk.
Yeah, live in the pod.
Live in the pod, bend the knee. What I really love the most is I am when it comes to telling people to like get a bucket of emergency food, that's the very centrist approach to prepping. So I have all these conservatives like laughing, being like, Psh, a food bucket? I got a storage facility. I got 1,000 rounds per gun. I got 20 guns. And I'm like, okay, I'll do better. And then the city people, the leftists, are like, what a moron buying these buckets. Oh, you're so dumb.
I have Uber Eats. I don't need that.
Yeah, right.
So, but here's one I love. So, our friend Luke over at We Are Change has been doing survivalist training, like hard.
Awesome.
He's doing like rifle training. He's filming all of it. It's pretty cool.
so cool.
You look so fun.
And then someone commented, Tim Pool's virgin food buckets versus Luke's Chad survivalist training. And I'm like,
that
okay,
too.
dude. Yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah, he's got an RV. We found the RV hookup. So
Yeah,
Luke,
man. It's
come
really
on,
cool.
show me how to shoot.
Yeah.
That's right, we'll have fun.
let's get
Actually,
it on.
my fiance bought his first gun, and like we'd done our like firearms certification course thing, because we're in Canada. They're weird with guns. We'd done it a while ago, but like everything going on, it kind of spurred him on to get his own. And we have a couple as well. And yeah, I don't know. It's good to be prepared. Personally, I don't know. You have an Asian background too. You can weigh in on this. I think I would do well in an apocalypse, because I'd eat anything.
Heck yeah.
Like I would eat
Except
like,
milk and red wine.
yeah, well, you know, upset the tummy. But I mean, aside from that, I'm scrappy. I think I would do well.
What
better
does
than
being
most
Asian
people.
have to do with that?
You'd eat anything, right?
I guess. Is
Yeah.
that an Asian thing?
Well, I don't know. I my fiance, he'll like freak out about the weirdest things.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe
oh.
that's true. Like I used to
He
watch.
doesn't want to eat bugs. I know that's like a big deal for people. They're like, how could they're trying to make us eat bugs? I agree that the pod thing is disappointed. I would totally eat bugs.
I got no problem with bugs.
Right? No problem
Yeah.
with bugs.
Yeah, why not?
What about you, Ian?
I'd eat bugs.
Yeah, see?
okay.
I want to
yeah.
eat
And you're
grass. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want
I
to learn
wanna
how to
eat
eat grass. I think you eat it and you'll puke, but then you eat it again and maybe you'll
my
puke, and then your
gosh.
body slowly you boil
get
it in some
used to
tea
it.
with some lemon and some salt if you have
Yeah.
access to it.
Adaptive
You gotta
process.
break down the cellulose.
It give you
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think grass tea is the way to go. But people should be able to. If we can learn to subsist off grass, I think human race is
Yeah.
going to be okay.
I don't think
Okay.
I think we subsist off grass by having cows eat it, and then we like
Yes.
eat the cow.
Yeah.
Something
I mean,
like that.
I agree. I like your philosophy. I did the carnivore diet for several months, and that was that was an experience.
It's tough.
Did it
What was
work?
that like?
I have never felt so good in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I was telling you, I've had the sniffles for like pretty much forever, and I have the immune system of a bubble boy.
Aw.
Oh.
I get sick all the time. And I have trouble sleeping, anxiety. Not serious stuff, but stuff over the past couple of years where I don't feel my best. But on carnivore, I had energy, no problem sleeping, waking up early. I just felt amazing. But it's sad because I love carbs.
So
Yeah,
so why
gluten.
did you get off the carnivore diet?
Because I love carbs.
Ah,
Yeah,
so
and
you're
it
an
was
addict.
like, yeah, I
Yeah.
know, I totally am, and like I went through sugar withdrawals, and like I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't even drink coffee, so it's like I I used to think that I was like pretty like, oh, clean living. I don't have any addictions. That's not true. Like there was a
Sugar.
point. Yeah, I would have stabbed
It
a homeless
hurts.
person
Yeah.
for like
It really
a
hurts.
pizza crust. No, it was bad.
Gluten, the United States has basically been telling us to eat it on the food pyramid and stuff because that's what is grown in the United States.
Yeah.
So it's like a business, but it's not
Corn,
good
man.
for the body.
Corn, everything.
Yeah.
We feed fish corn.
And
Subsidized.
wheat,
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so cloggy and
Yeah.
like, ooh, mucusy.
But I remember this was a big fad. Everyone was doing the carnivore diet, but then everyone stopped doing it. So I'm kind of like, yo.
So what is it? Is it just pure meat?
Yeah, it's just pure meat. And also, like, I mean, well, I'm hoping that next year is the year get pregnant. But also, like, as good as I felt, I don't feel comfortable. Like, you know, they say if you have a really restrictive diet when you're pregnant, it can lead to things like allergies and stuff like that. And I don't want my kid to be allergic to anything. So, you know, I want to, like, be eating everything while I'm pregnant.
Peanut butter.
Yeah,
Lots
exactly. A lot of
butter.
peanut
Yeah.
butter,
I would-
shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the
Peanut
big
butter, shrimp.
allergens.
Thai
Just-
food, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Yeah.
going to say Thai food.
Yeah. Man, I'd be miserable if I was allergic to peanut butter because, like, peanut butter is just, it's the best.
the best
You put it on
thing.
everything.
We
Yeah.
gotta
How
get
did
some-
we get into this conversation? Like,
I
what?
don't
Survival.
remember.
Gluten
Survival
allergies.
food.
Toilet paper.
Yeah. Toilet paper, yes.
Yeah.
The apocalypse, toilet
Yeah.
paper.
Oh, speaking of, what kind of power structure do you have at your house? Do you use solar now?
Oh, right now we just use regular, but my fiance and I, so he's indigenous and they have his tribe, they have essentially a thing where they'll give you land if you build on it.
Ooh.
Right, just like,
So cool.
here's some land, go ahead, and it's by this beautiful lake. It's like a lakefront property. So we've been looking at like prefab houses over there, and you don't pay any taxes. So we've been looking at prefab houses to put up there, and like, you know, I would love to get solar or something up there and kind of be
Oh,
off the grid.
You get like a
and-
Yeah.
modular
Yeah.
shipping container, super high tech.
Well, actually, they have really, really nice prefab houses now. Like they have ones with like stone detailing. They have ones that are like 2 stories. They have like really, really beautiful ones that you wouldn't even tell were prefab, but they're just cheaper because they build them in bulk and stuff
Oh,
like
that's
that.
Have you guys
Incredible.
Really
seen
cool.
the 3D printed house thing? That's
No.
the videos.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
it's
cool.
like a gigantic machine that sprays concrete and then it just like draws the house
Dude.
and then they frame over it. It's
That's
crazy.
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
We're on the
Yeah.
verge of something big.
Yeah, unless, you know, we get wiped out by civil war, the apocalypse, a solar
Pandemic.
flare.
That would
it's
also
right.
be something big.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.